Hi, good morning to you. Good morning. So we're at Z in the A to Z of happiness, and I must admit, I got a little stuck on how I could uh, make a video that starts with Z. So I did have some random thoughts about Zebedee from the Magic Roundabout, but those didn't last too long. Um, and I was thinking about you as a parent, as a human being, and me, and what what we feel a lot of, and what we feel a lot of at the moment. And so I came up with Z for tired, because I'm talking to a lot of parents at the moment, and a lot of them are tired. They are tired physically. They are doing a whole load of stuff. So one lady, one mum I spoke to earlier in the week, she talked about writing. She'd done her own job description, and it included everything that you can think of. But obviously, at the moment, with kids being off school, a lot of kids being off school, you've got the teacher, bottle washer, all the stuff that she had to do. And I said, oh well, if I look at my job description, it's got a lot less on it than you. So I feel for you. I feel for you and your physical tiredness from having to do so much. Especially, here in the UK, we've had a couple of hot days, and it is physically tiring doing stuff in the heat. And then there's the other sorts of tired, that kind of like emotionally tired. So people talk about being, physically and emotionally drained, and physically exhausted, physically and emotionally exhausted. When they're being through a lot, and there's a lot of people that have been through a lot with COVID, and people that are still going through a lot. So I wanted to raise your spirits. And the thing that popped into my head is that, so often we think that tiredness is a physical thing when it's actually an emotional thing. And I was on a course the year before, and it was a Saturday and Sunday, and we had a big night on the Saturday night. It was a late night. Did have quite a few beers, and I didn't sleep very well. I was in obviously not in my own bed on this particular course. It was down in Northampton, and I felt like death when I woke up in the mornings. I felt really tired. And then once I got into the second day of the course, and the course was about the stuff that I talk about here, really, about positivity, emotional intelligence, consciousness, practical spirituality. Different people call it different things. But at its heart, I think it's about our energy. It's about our energy. And I forgot how tired I was. And I thought, and then I remembered. So I got to the point where I thought, do you know, tiredness is a feeling. And by feeling, I mean both emotionally, mentally, and physically. All those three things: the emotions in our heads, the heart, the thoughts in our heads, the feelings in our hearts, and the physicality, our physical, feeling physically. That makes sense to me. It's about energy, and so it's not actually about what's going on out there, or in this instance, it wasn't about my lack of sleep and my throbbing head from overdoing it on beer, or my lack of sleep. It wasn't about my lack of sleep. Didn't matter to me anymore when I was in the energy of this room, and the energy that I was feeling inside me, and that was incredibly freeing for me, because I've talked a lot. I talked the other day about worrying, and the other thing that I have, and I still do sometimes worry about, is worried about having enough energy to do what I need to get done in the day. See, I've got a big dream. I want to change the world. I want to help parents help their kids be happier. It's a big dream, and even that, it feels like it needs a lot of energy, and sometimes it gets to me that I feel, well, if I'm not getting my 8 hours sleep or whatever we're supposed to get, I'm not going to be able to make that dream come true. But in that moment, I had that lift in my energy. You know, you feel that lift of the energy. You feel that lift. So the energy the energy that you feel when you go into a room, that comes from you. The energy that you feel when you're at, we were supposed to be seeing the Killers at a concert last week, but it obviously it was cancelled. And the energy that I feel at a Killers concert, or the energy that I feel at a rugby match, love to watch rugby matches. That all that energy that we actually feel is always coming from us, and when we feel that, I'm leaning in, sorry, we don't feel tired anymore. And the other thing I get tired about, and the other thing I hear about people getting tired about, they're tired of the voice in their head telling them that they're no good. So constantly, that voice in our heads tells us that we're no good. Tells us that we're failing. The one I've had particularly from mums this week, 2 mums I've spoken to. Spoke to her dad on Friday, but a couple of mums this week. They said that they feel they're failing their child. They've got something called parent guilt, and I'm thinking, that must be draining. That must be draining to feel like that. But where are the moments when we don't feel like that? Where are the moments where we don't feel like that? So if I've had a busy day, I often get this feeling just before I go to bed. Just before I go to sleep. There's my shoulders loosen, and there's a settling down, and then I go to sleep. The voice in my head, shut up. He's going to sleep as well for the next 8 hours, but he doesn't go to sleep for the 8 hours. He wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you going to do today, Simon? How are you going to help more parents help their kids? What is it? You're not helping. You're not helping enough kids. You've helped 1,600 kids. You've helped all these parents as well, but you help them help their kids. But it's not enough. It's not enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. We're doing never enough. You see, the only time that voice in our heads is asleep often is when we're asleep. So what's the solution? We can try and fight with the voice in our head. That's what my friend Richard Wilkins calls the civil war in our head. That fight never ceases. The only way through the fight, or to end the fight, is a ceasefire, because the two voices in our head, the good cop and the bad cop, They need each other for the good guy and the bad guy. I'm thinking Jack Reacher, the good guy in the novels. The good guy needs the bad guy. The good guy needs the bad guy to keep the story going, keep the fight going. So the only way I've seen to end the fight is a ceasefire where we just ignore the voice in our head. We realize that it is an opinion we no longer valid, as my friend Richard says. When we realize that it is rubbish, it's all rubbish. 99% of the stuff that goes through my head is rubbish. And then you've got all those mindset people. You probably expect me to be a mindset person. Yeah, mindset person. Yes. Fight the negative demons. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That's just continuing the fight, and that fight is draining, and that fight is exhausting, and that fight is tiring. So let's give up on that. Oh, what if your child could learn to do that too? But of course, we can only teach what we already know ourselves. So that's why I keep learning. That's why I keep listening to stuff. I keep going on courses, because I want to get better at ignoring the negative voice in my head, so I can help you ignore the negative voice in your head, and you can help your kids ignore the negative voice in their head. And that feels like a fantastic place to end the A to Z of happiness. Who knows what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do next? I've got a few ideas, but I'll be back tomorrow with the first of them. Cheers. Bye-bye.